Hello everybody, I am Dr. Saurabh Sadekar, Consultant Neurologist, Malti Manipal Hospital, Jayanagar, Bangalore. I am very happy to be part of this epilepsy awareness program. I would like to use this opportunity to spread awareness and clear some myths and misconceptions about epilepsy. So epilepsy is defined as an excessive electrical discharge or an abnormal electrical discharge which arises from the cells or neurons in the brain. It is a very common neurological disorder found in our day-to-day OPD practice. About 70% of patients who are living with epilepsy will become seizure-free if they are managed appropriately and if they are diagnosed and treated in the most appropriate manner and also in an early manner. The definition of epilepsy goes like 2 or more unprovoked seizures in a span of less than 24 hours. So the gap between the seizures has to be less than 24 hours, and ideally there should not be an identifiable cause for that, and hence the word unprovoked. So what are the causes of epilepsy? Epilepsy has several causes, commonest being idiopathic, the condition in which we do not find any cause. Other causes are like a genetic epilepsy which is present since birth, or an epilepsy related to a structural abnormality in the brain like brain infections or strokes or arteriovenous malformations or brain tumors, or structural abnormalities related to at the time of birth, any birth trauma or birth injury that can lead to epilepsy. What are the symptoms of epilepsy? In epilepsy, the most common symptom would be falling and losing consciousness, or a sudden staring look, involuntary movements of all 4 limbs, or either involuntary movements in one side and then spreading to the other side, tongue bite, frothing from the mouth, eyeballs rolling upwards, losing control over the bladder and bowel, and after gaining consciousness also being in a confused state. These are some of the common symptoms of epilepsy. Another symptom which several people describe is a feeling of deja vu. Deja vu is a feeling that they have seen this thing before, or they have experienced this thing that's happening around them even prior. That is called deja vu. Several people experience these things and then followed by a seizure. Diagnosing epilepsy requires a thorough and more clear, complete history of the patient, including history of the parents as well. That is because we can help to characterize the kind of seizure. We can classify the seizure as generalized or focal, because the choice of anticonvulsant drugs is different for generalized and different for focal seizures. Focal seizures, as we discussed, it is seizures which happen only in one half of the body. Generalized seizures is which involve all 4 limbs since the beginning of the seizure itself. So this, taking a proper history, will help to characterize which kind of seizure it is. Then followed by routine blood investigations, which should always include calcium and magnesium blood levels, because variations in these blood levels are one of the most common causes of epilepsy. Next, we can go for the EEG test. EEG test is a systematic study of the electrical discharges in the brain, the electrical signals that are firing, and based on the presence of abnormal spikes or spike and wave or polyspikes, we can get a clue whether this patient is a definite case of epilepsy or not. And of course, we need to do a brain imaging at the earliest, that is a CT scan or an MRI, among which MRI would be preferable, because MRI can identify all possible causes of any structural abnormality in a case of epilepsy. How do we treat epilepsy? This is one of the most common question when people have in their mind when they come to a neurologist in the OPD. The options are medical and surgical. Medical management most commonly used and most successfully used as well, and it is successful in most of the cases. Anticonvulsant drugs are used as per the characteristics of the seizures as per the severity of the seizure, as per the body weight and structure of the patient. We can use the appropriate medications in appropriate doses and at appropriate intervals. If there is any structural lesion identified in the MRI or a CT, then we need to go for a surgical management of epilepsy. But however, most of the cases are managed medically only. Most common taboo about epilepsy, or we can say not taboo, perhaps myths and misunderstandings, is a lifelong disorder and hence treatment should not be started at all, which is not true. It is not a lifelong disorder. Treatment is recommended for a period of 1 to 1.5 years from the last seizure, and following which the treatment can be discontinued, and following which chances of recurrence are very minimal. So this part is also not true. It's an inherited disorder, so it always runs in the genes. It's acquired from the parents. Hence, if parents don't have epilepsy and if the next generation presents with a seizure, treatment need not be started. No, it's not true. It is not an inherited disorder, so treatment has to be started. In pregnancy, epilepsy cannot be treated at all, which is not true. There are several anticonvulsants of late which are approved for use in pregnancy. They are safe for the mother as well as safe for the baby. So this part is also cleared now. It can be controlled by placing a metal in the hands of the patient who is having a seizure. This is also not scientifically true. It's one of the age-old beliefs which is being carried out even today. We hear such things when we come across patients with epilepsy, but it's not scientifically true at all. That is not how epilepsy is controlled. So that's also not true. Most important part of the epilepsy care program is to enable the patient to live a normal life. So how can we do that? What kind of advice do we give to a patient with epilepsy so that he can lead a normal life? One being acceptance of the condition that he is having epilepsy. He should not be in a denial mode. He should accept it. It's for the betterment of the patient. Then acceptance and compliance with the anticonvulsant medications which are prescribed to the patient. He should be regularly take the medicines at the regular intervals. He should not miss any doses. He should maintain a healthy lifestyle. Along with that, a quite disciplined and systemic lifestyle like sleeping on time, eating meals at regular times, regular and fixed times, not working late in the night. If possible, reducing the screen time, which is very difficult in these days. In the COVID era, everyone working from home, using only their screens, but yet we should try to restrict our screen times. If possible, we should not do any advanced work in the night time to avoid over exertion and to avoid mental stress. So I hope this information will benefit people who require guidance about epilepsy.